Alright, I'm going to try to keep this quick, but it's a complicated subject. Skeptical Heretic's been talking about, he thinks that, Snowden and these people should follow proper channels. And I made some comments in there, and internet people, well, first of all, Skeptical Heretic's own comments are like, you really should follow the facts if you care. Yeah, because everything is about this minutia that I didn't even dispute. I'm trying to talk about a bigger picture, but the main comment that seems to be people are, doing there. Well, I'm a YouTube atheist kind of tinfoil hat guy. Yeah, that good prediction, right? Somebody that believes in leaking illegal government activity to the public, they must be a tinfoil hat person, right? Anyway, I said what Snowden did was not illegal if what he was revealing was illegal. Oh, that's so funny. The government defines what's legal, basically, is their sentiment of mockery. You just don't know. Lies are proved. Well, the guy that wrote Patriot Act used to justify a lot of that stuff, says it was not supposed to, the law was not supposed to allow this. So let's be basic for a second. Is it possible for a government to break the law? Why, yes, it's a fact. It is possible. Have governments ever broken the law? Yes, as a matter of fact, that's a known fact. Right? And it's a known fact right now that the U.S. government is breaking the law as a matter of policy. That's a fact that I've known my whole life. It's fairly easy to see unless you want to ignore it. Right? For example, we're spying on the UN. Now, I think the data collection is illegal, but people are going to go, oh, no, and there's a FISA court, and it's a court, so it must be legal. I don't think secret courts and secret laws are legal, according to the Constitution. Oh, but they've said they are, so they must be. No, right? The Supreme Court recently overturned some voter right laws and some gay marriage-related laws. But there was a government that had made those laws and was acting on those laws as though they were law, when in reality, they were illegal. We just hadn't found out. Does the Supreme Court say what is absolutely legal? No, nobody in the whole world gets to say. It's not God's law, where whatever God says is the law. Never shall they be separated. It's the law is the written word, along with possibly interpretive rules to suss out what that written word means. But can the Supreme Court get it wrong? Yes, they have. There's famous examples. I won't mention them. Let's just see if you think there's no famous examples of even the Supreme Court getting the law wrong. How could that be? How would we know? Because there's more than one Supreme Court, and over time it can be reviewed. Now, we were getting to this argument about Abu Ghraib, and because the government reports had gone by proper channels, but then it was spilled out. Anybody that thinks that anything would have happened, that those people would have gone to jail, that the problem would have been dealt with the same way, even if it hadn't been released to the public, I think is naive. In the Snowden case, proper channels, okay. Start a job. The boss says, here's what you do. What are you supposed to do? Go to your boss with your concerns. You're told to do this. It's like, that doesn't seem right, boss. Do you know what I do this? Yeah, he knows. And he knows because the policy came down from the top. Congress has been briefed on this. They know. I knew that they would do this. I knew they were doing this kind of thing before the Patriot Act, but the Patriot Act allows them to force cooperation a little more. Congress people know already. If it goes all the way up to the top, if you work for a city government that's spying on people in the city illegally, and it's a corrupt government in general, and you all work for, ultimately, officially, the mayor, and it's the city's taxes and their sovereignty, you're going to go up the proper channels, go tell the mayor, you're corrupt. Would you please do something about it? No, you go to some other organization. Well, in the U.S., there is no other sort of organization. If Snowden found out, if he had just been reading these things, and it found out, oh, we're spying on the UN, that's illegal. Who's he go to? The UN? That would be more like espionage. If Snowden had gone to his congressperson, really the only option, and told them, what likely would have happened is that Snowden would lose his job and he would be spied on the rest of his life using tools he knows exists. You don't think so? I do. I'm not so... I could be open. I'm the kind of person that likes to use proper channels. If I go around my boss, I talk to my boss first, and I like to use proper channels. But my government is not using proper channels. They're not using proper channels as to how you're supposed to conduct policing matters in a democracy. We're in a martial law state. We're at war with an unseen enemy. And nobody's even arguing that this is democratic. It's just necessary. Now, I support whistleblowing on the government. Right? That doesn't make me a conspiracy theorist. Maybe it makes me a traitor too. But I don't think so. I don't think secret courts and secret laws. I don't think having to show your papers all the time. I don't think those are in the spirit of the American system. And I think that the written word of the Constitution obviously makes this all illegal. These are not due process, right? We're not following our own laws. Okay. So I think that it's more important to tell the government to follow some proper procedures than whistleblowers that are trying to get it out in the open so that people can do something about it. Now, if you think the American government's going to solve its problems and corruptions through the proper procedures, I think you're naive. It's probably not going to happen no matter what. But if it does, it's going to be by public disclosures. The Pentagon Papers, Manning's, Snowden's, and so on. Now, luckily, there's a group of people with information ethics that agree with me, not you. And they're rebels, they're underground. You know, it's not going to stop. If you have sysadmins in your NSA, it's not going to stop. Try to hide it from the sysadmins. And your concerns are like, look, if Snowden could release this to us, you don't think other people less ethical are selling it and looking up their love interests and stuff like that? Well, they are. It came out. I said that before, and then sure enough, the NSA people have this love-int thing where people are looking up stuff on, romantic interests. Very surprising. They should go through the proper channels. It is very naive. But there's proper channels. What do you mean, defined by this government that's breaking the law? Is bugging the UN of proper channels? Oh, it's illegal. Oh, no, it's one of those laws that we just say it's illegal so we could tell everybody we're not doing it. I don't support that. But I'll tell you as well, it's a political position. I don't support top secret concept. I think if you want to have agents in other countries, say, hey, we have agents, we have people in other countries living as locals. It's just the way, so we learn what's going on, you guys. We want to know what locals think of us, and this is really the only way. You don't give their addresses and names or say which countries have how many. Those very last details, yeah, those are just incidentally need to be said. But to say we don't do it at all, why? Because, well, if we say it, then people will know we have, and they'll be suspicious of. Everybody knows we do that. Every country on earth does that. We all know that. But it's important to maintain the lie and tell each other we don't. No, how about we just tell each other we do? How about we formalize it and say, look, as a matter of fact, we'll put some of these clandestine people in your country and tell you about them. Or, just go with it. If it's what you need to do, go with it. No, we have to pretend we're not doing it for it to work. Security through obscurity. Look that up. See, in computer science, security through obscurity is a kludge. It doesn't work. It's not real security. You think, oh, we live by secrets. Well, yeah. Evil people do. People like Nazis have to have secret plans because nobody's going to go for it. plenty of Americans say, yeah, collect all our data, we want you to look for terrorists. So why not just have a public debate? The American people are sheeple enough that they'll go, yeah, watch us all. And if they don't, then you can't. It's a democracy. But it's really naive to think that with how corrupt our system has become, that the proper channels lead to the solution. No, shaking shit up and making people wake up, right? They've been doing this kind of thing that was revealed by Snowden. They've been doing that since the 70s, since there was electronic communication. I wait for these times where it's slapped in the face of everybody and people have to admit it. Because when it doesn't get disclosed like this, people like Skeptical Heretic go, well, you know, the facts are that actually this is a there were abuses at Abu Ghraib, but that's just normal, and they were just individual rogues, and they didn't get that far. You know, and we wouldn't have seen stacks of naked bodies and forced oral stuff and heard about the congressman coming out talking about unreleased tapes showing, you know, rape of minors and things. We wouldn't know any of that. We'd be told, well, it's blown out of proportion. It was taken care of by proper channels. It was buried by the proper channels. Now, you could disagree with me, but, you know, I think you're naive. But if you want to disagree with me and go, oh, well, you're just like a conspiracy theorist, a HARP 2012, tell yourself that, you little people. No, there's a position in the world that, you know what? I want to live in a world where I don't have to give my ID to get on a plane. But what if you're running away? I don't know, you paranoid motherfucker. How about you get out of my ass? I'm not running away. I'm getting on a fucking plane. Oh, I don't want to get on the plane. Here, bro, you want a plane trip? I'm not going. On the plane. Boom. That's how it used to be. Y'all are so scared I can't even meet my relatives at the terminal anymore. Thanks. Fucking scared weenie bastards. Your proper channels. Take your shoes off. That's the proper channel. The government tells you what the law is. No, it doesn't. Fuck, the Constitution tells me what the law is. And I get to judge if I even like that law. The law ain't the boss of me. My moral system is. This government and us are violating my moral system. I consider it immoral to kill women and children and innocent men and, well, to just kill indiscriminately because, well, we thought maybe there was a person there. It's not in America, so you don't have to be careful. I think that's immoral. You understand? I think that's immoral. It might be useful to collect all the data, but we still had the Boston bombing. I don't think they use it very well. I don't think they're making good use of it, but it could be made good use of. If I was in charge of that data, I'd probably be able to put some good use to it and find me some terrorists. I don't want to live in that world. That's not worth it to me. I think one of the problems with us is that people don't know of anything they die for. People think they could say, well, if it'll save your life, it's automatically, you can't argue that it's worth doing. Yes, I can. There's things worth dying for. People go, well, there's arguments where you might have to torture a child to save the world, and obviously that would be objectively worth it because the world would have to be saved. No, I'd rather die than do that because I don't want to live having done that. Now you could say, oh, but isn't that selfish because you could save the whole world? No. Save the world, a world where it survives by torturing children. I'm supposed to assume I'd be the last one in this, or whatever. I'm not going to do it. I have rules. I'd rather be killed or tortured myself. And that's like, that makes there a cutoff on how much I can be led around by fear. Proper channels. It's time for the improper channels.